So Mick, we're coming up to the Christmas, which is a busy time for so many footballers, and so many of your own players are now back in action, which is good to see. Shane Long, for example, he's now one of the top Irish players in the Premier League in terms of appearances.
Yeah, it's good to see him back playing. Robbie Brady got back in. I don't need to see those play. That's in anybody's thoughts that I have to go and scout them. I will, by the way. But I know what their qualities are, but I just need them playing on a regular basis. It'd be great if they can between now and the playoffs.
That's been your consistent message for Shane Long, hasn't it? That he's got to get back into the team at Southampton, and he is now back starting games.
Yeah, he is, and they had a good result there the other night. And I think that if Hassan Hoodle is now trusting him and playing him, and he sees him as a vital part of their survival, then hopefully he'll play all the way through, and maybe we can benefit from it as well.
And then in Robbie Brady's terms, he scored against Manchester City, albeit at the very end of the game. But he is starting matches or coming on at significant times in matches.
Yeah, it won't bother Robbie where he scored, and to him, he'll have scored against Manchester City. I'm sure he'll be feeling better about himself. He's another one. When he was in the last for the last two games, and he wants to play, he wants to be in the team. But he can't pick the side, and it is about playing games and being fully match fit. And without those games, you just don't get match hardened. You're not fully fit.
You were at Crystal Palace the other night. James McCarthy came on at half time. Again, he's starting to get football. Yeah,
he's came on as a sub, came on at half time. I mean, it was a backs to the wall job. They were down to 10 men after, was it 24 minutes or something, when Sissoko got sent off, and he came on at half time and did a job like all the others were doing. Tracking back, filling in holes, blocking. Didn't have seen much of his attacking prowess and his passing, but it'll help him get fit anyway, that's for sure.
And you've been to see Ryan Manning at QPR again?
Yeah, I've been and seen him 2 or 3 times now this season. He's playing as a wing back, and yes, I played it once, but the reality is I don't play it on a regular basis. He's actually a midfield player that's playing there, and he does a good job for them. So I'll just continue to monitor him, but he's not a left winger, he's not a left back. He's sort of in between, and in reality is a central left side of midfield player. But QPR were doing well. They've just had a couple of downturns, but any time I've watched him, he's got a good left foot, puts good free kicks in, corner kicks. But we've got our own free kick and corner kick delivery in Conor Hourihane for sure. Having watched him there the other night, he was brilliant.
He made 1 goal, scored a cracker. He's on form.
I was delighted for him because he's much maligned at times. He was left out. Much maligned's wrong, but he was the first one to be left out when they signed the new players in the summer. I worried for him, and he's just shown his determination, his stubbornness, his quality, and I mean the goal he scored was fabulous, and the ball for the second goal was as well. He seems to be playing on a regular basis now, and he did for me, and I thought he was excellent in the games.
On the injury front, Darren Randolph, he's going to be out for a little while, isn't he?
Yes, I won't put a time on it because I'm sure I'll be wrong, but it was a number of weeks, and I think you could see that the way he was even kicking the ball. He wasn't firmly putting his laces through it. He's starting to side foot it a little bit, and he was nursing it through. I'm glad he nursed it through as far for us, of course, but it's a shame now for Middlesbrough that they've lost him for a few weeks.
And you've been to Charlton of late as well, and Josh Cullen also out for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I was at the game that Josh got injured, and I mean he got kicked and put on his backside a few times because he's a real combative midfield player. Despite his size, he really gets about, and I've been really, really impressed with him. He was sort of tackled from behind. I think it's when he landed. He's damaged his ankle ligaments. I spoke to him the other night, and I think at the first they were thinking maybe an operation in 3 to 4 months. He's telling me it's more like 6 to 8 weeks, so I'd be delighted for him.
Seamus Coleman had an injury, got back into the squad, and then he went and broke a rib.
Yeah, it's tough there for Seamus because Sidibe's got in the team, and he looks good. I have to be honest, he's a good player. Well, I know he's a good player. He's got quality. He's got a pedigree, so that makes it hard for Seamus. But they're not getting results, so I don't know if they're talking about a change of a manager. They're always talking about a change of a manager somewhere. I'm hoping he gets back in the team because he's important to us.
Lastly, on the player front, Troy Parrott went from the Denmark match on the Monday night, played for the 21s on the Tuesday. The second half performance was excellent. He got a goal himself, and he scored again for Spurs this week in the Youth Cup. He's making progress.
Yeah, it was lovely that his attitude towards it as well was he was desperately wanting to go and play for the 21s. It wasn't one of a lad who's come into the senior team and then suddenly sees himself as a senior player and didn't want to step. People would see as a downward step. He embraced it and wanted to go and play, and of course he did, and he scored, and they had a great result. They've been doing very, very well.
I have to ask you, the news this week that your beloved VAR is going to be present in Slovakia, and then for the finals against Bosnia or Northern Ireland. You're not a fan?
I'm not, no, and yet I was screaming at the television, Preston versus West Brom, because the guy took a dive, got a penalty, scored against Brownie and Sean Maguire's team and won the game, and I was raging. I don't know why, it's got nothing to do with me, but I was. And yet we've had VAR and it still doesn't pick it up. I've seen some decisions this week where they've even gone to VAR and still decided that, and I'm not convinced they were right. Seeking perfection, it's not happening at the moment, and they're stopping games. I think it's stopping spontaneity almost in terms of that celebration. So no, I'm not a fan of it at all. I preferred it before, and I do think decisions probably end up, if they're just left to the referee, they probably end up evening themselves out over the course of a season. What's happening now is the referee's not refereeing the game. It's somebody sat up in a box in miles away that's making the big decisions, and I'm still not convinced they're getting them right. And I'll refer back to the game always, of course. David McGoldrick, apparently his toenail was offset. It's ridiculous. Surely it wasn't set up to do things, make decisions like that and stop goals. And that's what it's doing. I haven't got a stat in front of me, but I wonder how many goals have been disallowed because of VAR and how many have been given because of VAR. I bet the first one far outweighs it.
What's your view on the fact that it wasn't used for the qualifiers but now it's been used for the playoff?
I'd sooner it not be used at all, unless of course it gives us a decision that proves to be vital for us. How selfish are we? I think everybody thinks that way. So I'd be happy for it to be taken away completely and then go back to the original where the referee decides it. This is a new competition, apparently. Although it's still part of the same qualifying campaign. We've gone through the group stages, that's finished. What they can't do is put it in midway through a comp. So I guess to see this is a new competition. It's there, Cole. Can't do anything about it. So
just get on with it.
Get on with it. Yeah, I don't whinge about things like that. I mean, I'll have a bleat about it because it's there and I'm not convinced it's working properly. But if it's there and we've got to use it, well, so be it.